good evening. And my directive is today to stay within those 20 minutes. So I will stick to it. I'm from ITC Foods, as you can see. And today, though ITC does a lot of things across the spectrum of sustainability, today my charter is to talk about water. And just a quick recap, I've been in ITC for around 8 years. And before that, for around 21 years, I've served on board Indian Navy submarines and also commissioned the first indigenous nuclear submarine called the Arihant. And why I'm mentioning that is because the most precious commodity on a submarine is water. And the minute we leave, you don't have a bath for the deployment. You're not allowed to shave. And towards the end of the deployment, even drinking water is rationed. So from the submarines, I moved to an organization which has been water positive for the last 23 years. So it's an honor to come. And today I will walk you across this journey of ITC Foods, of ITC as an organization, and foods in particular, and what we are doing for this, we're walking the talk in terms of net zero water. Yeah. So just a quick, this is a publicly declared ITC Next strategy. And across all the levers, Sustainability 2.0 is one of the major drivers. And as you can see, it is in the companies in ITC's DNA, sustainability. Much before anybody talked of sustainability, we've been carbon positive, carbon neutral, water positive, plastic positive, and renewable as well. So this is a major driver. This is what I wanted to bring to your notice. And this is a spectrum of our manufacturing. And what you see are these dots are our own factories and upcoming factories. And that's a whole lot of lines. This is just to give you an idea of the diversity that we operate, and add to this another 80 contract manufacturing units. So this is spread across overexploited zones, water in areas where the groundwater is actually 3,500 TDS with silica. And we have water, great water in Haridwar, for great water from the Ganges. So our water spectrum is across India, and therefore come with it as many challenges. And one thing we've realized is, while we all talk of buildings, of water positive buildings, what we've realized at ITC is that you cannot just look at the four walls of your factory or your organization. If you have to be sustainable, you have to look at that entire catchment area. You have to take the community along. Otherwise, it is being water positive for the sake of being water positive. For the long term, if you have skin in the game and you're there for the long run, you have to take the entire community along. And that's what we believe in. That's therefore, and once I take you through our story, some of the good highlights is we are one of the very few organizations in India who are on the Climate Disclosure Project list. 7 out of 11 Alliance of Water Stewardship sites belong to ITC. And like I said, we pump in 4 times the water that we consume. And not now, we've been doing it for the last 23 years. So there are a lot of these integrated watershed projects that have been deployed across India. And maybe I'll just, time permitting, I'll take you through some of them. Yeah, so like I said, at Foods, our approach is to look at both the supply side as well as the demand side. And of course, in our core operations and the agri-value chain as well. So in our core operations, we establish rainwater harvesting systems across our units, structures where we recharge the, structures where we recharge groundwater inside the factory. In the core operations, we have publicly declared specific water consumption targets that are audited, and year on year, we declare these efficiencies, and we do a lot of things to increase these efficiencies, and of course, have regular water audits across all our units. In the agri-value chain, like I said, create integrated watershed programs for the farmers, small farmers, create structures in their farms which help them to harvest rainwater. And in the demand side of the farming, give them a lot of the drip water irrigation technologies, the accelerated saplings, which I'll be walking you through one where the sugarcane, for example, we found that if you, instead of planting the seeds, if you plant the saplings, they consume much less water. So things like that is we look at an overall approach at ITC. Now let me just take you into the core operations. These are photographs of our plants at Malur, which is very close by, around 40 kilometers from here, where we have these huge automated warehouses next to our factories with a huge area. So what we've realized is, and Malur, for example, is an overexploited zone, and the groundwater earlier had run off, and we were buying water in tankers. So we realized when you have this great 33,000 square meters of rooftop, we built harvesting technology, rainwater technology, and let me see if this video runs. Can you help me with that? Yeah. Okay. So this is a new siphonic technology where you see the rainwater goes in, and as water goes down, there is this siphon, and it creates some kind of a vacuum, which sucks in this water as you see. So instead of creating these huge, large headers, we are now using much narrower pipes, less cost, but more efficient siphoning technology. So that's what we've implemented in Malur. And last year alone, around 18,000 KL of water, which is equivalent to some 100 days of operation, we harvested. And it's an ROI. While people say, don't look at ROI, there's a mindset. End of the day, we're running a business. So 18,000 KL of water into 150 rupees per KL, well, that's the saving. And that was the ROI of this technology. And it's working. And we are replicating it across our factories. Again, some photographs of groundwater recharge plants across our factories. Again, somebody was mentioning this. I think Sunita said you met somebody or somebody else. So we've implemented this. I don't know if you're able to see this. This gives the message on a phone where it says today's daily consumption is 26.01 KL. So that's the alarm. And what we've done is we put this IoT-based sensors, simple, cost-effective monitoring, which sends these alarms across to the various managers, engineering managers. And going forward, we're going to integrate this with our production and go into micro level, from line level, move into micro level. Simple, cost-effective technologies. Second stage RO, the RO reject, put into another RO, you get a whole lot of water available. So that is another maybe 17 KL per day increase that we've got at Malur. Use that RO reject water for potato washing, not directly on the product, but there are some bearings, pump cooling and all that. So just go across the line, keep optimizing our operations. And again, noodle lines across our factories, there's this water that is sprayed before the noodle gets into the steamer. So instead of a shower, we have these atomizers which reduce the water consumption by around 20-25% and give a more uniform steaming for the noodles as well. ETP, treated water in our toilet flushing, steam condensate recoveries from the various boilers, and atomizers across hand washes and all that. So these are our operations, core operations, and maybe I'll show you in the end, we have publicly declared specific water consumption targets of around 30% by 2030. And we are already achieved, I think, 28-30% across our lines. Now, like I said, it's not enough to look at your four walls. So I'll just walk you through this journey of a very prestigious certification called the Alliance of Water Stewardship. And like I said, out of the 11 factories in India, 7 certified belong to ITC. So this is a Malur unit, pretty close by, 40-45 kilometers from here, in the Hoskote district. And yes, so I don't have a pointer, but that red star there, yeah, the red star there is our factory, and this is in the South Pennar Basin. And like as you can see on the map, there are no rivers, no tributaries, so pretty much groundwater that we use. So what we said was, and there's a study that was done by the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and what we do is something called a core area perspective plan. So ITC has an organization called Mission Sunera Kal, and every 2 years we look at a core area perspective plan. The red circle is a 5-kilometer radius, the blue is a 10-kilometer radius, and it encapsulates around 14 gram panchayats across 168 villages. And these were the key challenges. Groundwater levels were depleting. Every once in 5 years, there was a drought in the area. The traditional earth tanks were overexploited, and they had run out of water. And there was a very high, the red part of the pie is the agriculture was using 84% of that water. And if you look at that red line, is the groundwater availability, and the blue line is the abstraction. So the amount of water that was being abstracted was way beyond what is available. And of course, the wash facilities, school Anganwadis were depleted, and children pretty much didn't have water to wash their hands, and the associated unhygienic conditions. So we built an action plan. We said we'll strengthen water. Like I said, you have to take the community along. So there were these water user groups. SDMC are the school divisional management committees. So we took all of them along and said, okay, this is our plan. Then you look at the aquifer. We had a study of the aquifers in that area, and look at the supply and demand management. I'll walk you through some of the action plans, because each of this action plan was then put across into exact bullet points, which I'll be taking you in the next slide. And then look at create these tanks, check dams, recharge zones, common areas, command areas, and so on. And then the demand side, create good irrigation practices, agricultural practices for the farmer, and create awareness programs both with the farmers, with the schools, and the Anganwadis. So this was the action plan, and those are the outcomes, of course. Yes, so this looks a little complicated, but if you could just look at these two columns. So our supplied side interventions included land treatment, so many hectares, and just look at that last column. That is a journey of from 2019 to the current year. So we've achieved around 73% of land treatment, and the rest, as you can see, of course, except recharge structures, which we are in the process of creating. So we've created farm ponds, tanks, check dams, command areas, which basically the influence, and we're talking of, yes, so around 1,928 hectares of area that has been positively influenced by this water. The demand side, what we use, farmer field schools created almost 120% in excess. Village institutions have been educated, demand management, and plantations. So this is what, the plan and the progress. So I think, and all of this is audited. It's not that, they're audited by the Alliance of Water Stewardship. Some photographs to, just to see the, the stakeholder management, interaction with various stakeholders. Yes, so these has led to, like I said, against the plan, an overall achievement way beyond what we expected, 217. So the proof of the pudding, water storage potential, almost 5.34 lakh cubic meters of water storage potential was created, and we've saved around 14.1 mega liters cubic meters of water. Okay, so again, a few pictures where aquifer recharge ponds, the check dams, farm ponds, and so on. And demand management, drip irrigation, you see a very novel kind of an irrigation, and these are in practice. So if you ever walk across to that Malur area, you can actually go and see all of this. So this is meters below ground level. So earlier, if you see that red line is the Malur line, earlier 87.435, sorry, 2019 meters below ground level for the water availability, which has gone up to around 41.66. So 40 meters of ground level, and that's that entire aquifer. That's a hell of a lot of water which is being created, and the pictures before and afters of the greenery speak for themselves. Again, some numbers. I'll just take you through some. Yes, I think these speak better than the numbers. So earlier, what was the water storage at the wash or water and sanitation and hygiene? So these are some of the schools, wash areas created for the community. And once you take the community along, you'll realize that things just improve exponentially. And these are the before and after interventions. So nothing like a smile of a child to give you the satisfaction that we have. Yes, so this is the value creation, 5.34 lakh cubic meters, 75 schools, Anganwadis taken into our fold, and so many structures created, and the outcome that we see. So I will, paucity of time, I will not go into this, which is another area of our plants in Maharashtra, the Gord River Basin. Again, long story short, we dealt with a whole lot of these organizations, governments, knowledge partnerships, engaged with a lot of sugar mills in that area, because those sugar mills are big guzzlers of water in Maharashtra, as we all know. And so I'll not get into this, but yes, so end result is that Gord water, the river basin, which was earlier depleted, has now turned water positive. Yes, so some testimonials. Yes, so this is something that I want to cover. Earlier I had said, yes, so 30% is a publicly declared sustainability 2.0 2030 target of reduction of specific water consumption, which we have. FBD is our foods business division. These are our various factories. Just to give you a sense that year on year, due to our core operations, continuous improvement, we have now achieved almost 36% reduction from the baseline of 18-19. Okay. So some awards by the Ministry of Jal Shakti for the Gord River Basin beyond the fence category. And but the biggest award is, of course, the smiles that we see in that community when you ever go and visit those farmers. So can we play this little? I'll leave you with this. And I finished right on time. So can we have the audio as well, please?